Eat 1 raw garlic clove every morning for 7 days. Your doctor will be shocked. I want to start today with a confession. About 6 months ago, one of my patients, a 72-year-old retired nurse named Gloria, came in for her routine checkup, and her numbers had changed in a way that genuinely surprised me. Her blood pressure was down, her fasting glucose was lower, her cholesterol panel had shifted in a favorable direction. Her C-reactive protein, her inflammation marker, had dropped meaningfully, and she was moving better. Her chronic knee stiffness that had been a complaint at every appointment for 3 years was significantly reduced. I went through her medications. Nothing had changed. I went through her exercise habits. Modest improvement, but nothing dramatic. And then she told me what she had been doing differently for the past 7 weeks. Every single morning before breakfast, she had been eating 1 raw garlic clove. Just one. Peeled, crushed, and swallowed with a glass of water. Every morning, without exception. I want to be honest with you. I knew the research on garlic. I had read the studies. But watching the numbers on Gloria's chart and connecting them to that single daily habit was a different kind of convincing. Today, I am going to share everything the research says about what happens inside your body when you eat 1 raw garlic clove every morning for 7 days, and what Gloria's experience over 7 weeks showed me about what happens when you keep going beyond that. My name is Dr. Dylan. I am a physician with over a decade of clinical experience. Please stay with me until the end, because I'm going to tell you the one thing you must do to the garlic before eating it that determines whether you get the full medicinal benefit or almost none at all. Before I tell you what happens day by day, I need to make sure you understand what makes raw garlic so biologically extraordinary, because most people think of garlic as a flavoring ingredient and have no idea that it is one of the most pharmacologically potent foods in the human diet. The key compound is allicin. Allicin is produced when the cells of a garlic clove are crushed or cut. The enzyme alliinase is released from the cell vacuoles and converts the amino acid allicin into allicin within seconds of cellular disruption. Allicin is what gives fresh garlic its characteristic pungent smell and sharp flavor. And allicin is what is responsible for the majority of garlic's medicinal effects. Its antimicrobial activity against bacteria, fungi, and certain viruses, its blood pressure lowering effects through nitric oxide pathway activation, its cholesterol modifying effects, its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, and its blood thinning effects that reduce cardiovascular clotting risk. Here is the critical thing most people do not know. Allicin is only produced when the garlic is crushed or chopped. A whole uncrushed clove contains essentially no allicin. It contains the precursor allicin and the enzyme alliinase, but they are kept separate by cell membranes and do not interact until those membranes are broken. Additionally, cooking destroys alliinase, which is why cooked garlic, while delicious and still nutritious, does not deliver the same allicin content as raw crushed garlic. This is why the one thing I will tell you at the end of this video is so important. And here is a second critical fact. After you crush garlic, you should wait 5 to 10 minutes before eating it. This waiting period allows the alliinase reaction to complete and the allicin to fully form. Eating crushed garlic immediately without waiting significantly reduces the allicin content you receive. Crush it, wait 5 to 10 minutes, then eat it. That sequence is what delivers the full medicinal dose. Now let us talk about what that dose does inside your body over 7 days. Day 1. Within 30 to 60 minutes of eating your first raw crushed garlic clove, with its full allicin content delivered, the allicin is absorbed through your digestive tract and enters your bloodstream. The first biological effects begin almost immediately. Allicin and its breakdown products, including allyl methyl sulfide and diallyl disulfide, reach your blood vessel walls and begin interacting with the endothelial cells that line those vessels. These compounds stimulate the production of hydrogen sulfide, a gaseous signaling molecule that causes vascular smooth muscle to relax. When blood vessel walls relax, they widen. When they widen, blood flows more freely and blood pressure drops. This vasodilatory effect is measurable within 1 to 2 hours of consuming raw garlic in people with elevated blood pressure. Additionally, allicin inhibits platelet aggregation, reducing the tendency of blood platelets to clump together and form clots. This effect begins within hours of the first dose and is one of the reasons regular garlic consumption is associated with reduced cardiovascular event risk in population studies. On day 1, many people also notice something in their digestion: a warmth, a stimulation of digestive secretions, a slight acceleration of gut motility that reflects garlic's direct effects on the gastrointestinal smooth muscle and its stimulation of digestive enzyme production. People with slow digestion or chronic bloating often notice an improvement in digestive comfort from the very first day. Days 2 and 3. By the second and third day of consistent morning garlic consumption, the allicin is beginning to have measurable effects on the microbial environment of your gut. Allicin is one of the most potent natural antimicrobial compounds known, effective against a broad spectrum of bacteria, fungi, and even some viruses. At dietary doses, it selectively reduces populations of harmful gut bacteria, including H. pylori, which is implicated in stomach ulcers and is extraordinarily prevalent in older adults. While research suggests beneficial lactobacillus and bifidobacterium species are relatively resistant to allicin's antimicrobial activity at these concentrations, the result over days 2 and 3 is a progressive shift in gut microbiome composition toward a healthier balance, fewer harmful bacteria, reduced gut inflammation, and improved gut barrier function. People notice this as reduced bloating, more comfortable and regular digestion, and less gas, particularly gas that results from bacterial fermentation of food in the lower intestine. Additionally, by days 2 and 3, the anti-inflammatory effects of allicin are beginning to accumulate systemically. Allicin and its metabolites inhibit NF-κB, the master inflammatory transcription factor that orchestrates the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines throughout the body. This NF-κB inhibition reduces systemic inflammatory tone in a way that builds with each consecutive daily dose. People with chronic joint pain often begin to notice subtle improvement in morning stiffness by the end of day 2 or beginning of day 3. Not dramatic pain relief, but a softening of the stiffness that has been their daily companion. Days 4 and 5. By the midpoint of the 7-day period, the cardiovascular effects of consistent daily allicin intake are most fully expressed. Multiple clinical studies on garlic supplementation and blood pressure have shown that 4 to 5 days of consistent intake produces measurable reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in people with hypertension or prehypertension. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition found that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.4 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by 7.3 in people with elevated blood pressure, effects that rival some antihypertensive medications. The mechanism involves not just the hydrogen sulfide-mediated vasodilation we discussed, but also allicin's inhibition of angiotensin-converting enzyme, the same pathway targeted by ACE inhibitor blood pressure medications. By days 4 and 5, cholesterol metabolism is also beginning to shift. Allicin inhibits HMG-CoA reductase, the same enzyme that statin medications inhibit, reducing the liver's production of cholesterol. Studies have shown that consistent garlic consumption reduces total cholesterol by an average of 15 to 30 milligrams per deciliter over 4 to 12 weeks. The 4 to 5 day mark is where the enzymatic inhibition is becoming established and the cholesterol-modifying trend is beginning. Additionally, by days 4 and 5, many people who monitor their fasting blood sugar begin to see lower morning readings. Allicin improves insulin sensitivity through mechanisms that include enhanced glucose uptake by muscle cells and reduced hepatic glucose production, effects that begin subtly in the first week and build significantly over subsequent weeks. Days 6 and 7. By the end of the first week, the cumulative anti-inflammatory, cardiovascular, metabolic, and antimicrobial effects of daily raw garlic are at their most comprehensive expression within this initial period. Gloria told me that by the end of her first week she noticed three things clearly. Her morning blood pressure readings, which she measured at home, had dropped by an average of 9 points systolic compared to her readings before she started. Her morning joint stiffness, particularly in her knees, was noticeably less severe and was resolving more quickly. And her energy in the mornings was meaningfully better. She attributed this partly to the better sleep she was experiencing, which she connected to the reduced overnight joint discomfort, and partly to what she described as simply feeling more vital and clear in a way she had not for some time. The research basis for all three of these observations is solid. The blood pressure improvement reflects the cardiovascular effects we discussed. The joint improvement reflects the NF-κB-mediated reduction in inflammatory cytokine production. And the energy and vitality improvement reflects the compound effects of better blood pressure, reduced inflammation, improved gut health, and, something we have not yet discussed, garlic's remarkable effects on the immune system. Allicin activates natural killer cells and macrophages, two of the primary cell types of the innate immune system. Regular raw garlic consumption has been shown to reduce the incidence and duration of common colds by over 60% in clinical trials. By day 6 and 7, your immune surveillance is more active and more responsive than it was a week ago. You may not feel this directly, but your body's capacity to identify and eliminate pathogens and abnormal cells has meaningfully improved. So what do you do with this information? The practical answer is simple. Starting tomorrow morning, before breakfast, before coffee, before anything else, peel 1 medium garlic clove. Place it on a cutting board and crush it firmly with the flat of a spoon or knife. Allow it to sit for 5 to 10 minutes. This is the step that most people skip, and that makes the biggest difference in allicin content. Then swallow it whole, or chew it once or twice with a small bite of food to reduce the burning sensation, and follow immediately with a full glass of water. If the burning sensation is too intense in the first few days, try eating the crushed garlic with a small amount of honey, a piece of apple, or a teaspoon of olive oil, all of which reduce the mucosal irritation while preserving the allicin content. Do this every single morning for 7 days without exception. Then come back and tell me in the comments exactly what you noticed and when. I am Dr. Dillon. The research on raw garlic is real. Gloria's experience is real. And the morning habit of 1 crushed raw garlic clove costs virtually nothing and delivers a concentration of bioactive cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, and immune-supporting compounds that no supplement manufacturer has fully replicated in a capsule. Try it for 7 days. Your doctor might be surprised at your next appointment. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Healthy After 60. Share this with someone you love who needs this information. And I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Starting tomorrow morning with 1 small clove. Before I close today, I want to address the question that I know is on every person's mind right now. And that is, what about the smell? Because raw garlic breath is real, and I am not going to pretend it is not. Allyl methyl sulfide, one of the breakdown products of Allicin, is absorbed into the bloodstream and excreted through the lungs, producing the characteristic garlic breath that persists for several hours after consumption. This is not something that brushing your teeth fixes because it originates from the lungs, not the mouth. Here are the practical strategies that work best for managing garlic breath while maintaining the health benefits. First, timing. Taking your garlic first thing in the morning before other activities gives the allyl methyl sulfide several hours to metabolize before you have important social or professional interactions. Most people find that garlic breath has significantly diminished by mid-morning. Second, fresh parsley. Chewing a small sprig of fresh parsley immediately after eating garlic significantly reduces garlic breath. Parsley contains chlorophyll and enzymes that neutralize some of the sulfur compounds responsible for the odor. Third, green tea or lemon water immediately following the garlic further reduces breath impact. Fourth, apple. Eating a small piece of raw apple after the garlic has been shown in research to significantly reduce breath odor. Enzymes in the apple break down some of the volatile sulfur compounds. Fifth, milk. Drinking a glass of full-fat milk after eating garlic reduces garlic breath more effectively than water. The fat and protein in milk bind to some of the sulfur compounds before they can be absorbed. The most important practical point is this: do not let garlic breath be the reason you abandon a habit that is doing genuinely significant things for your blood pressure, your inflammation, your gut health, your cholesterol, and your immune system. The morning timing strategy alone, taking the garlic immediately upon waking before your day begins, makes the breath issue manageable for the vast majority of people. Gloria manages it by taking her garlic first thing, following with green tea and parsley, and notes that by the time she leaves the house an hour later, nobody has ever mentioned any garlic odor. You can do the same. 1 clove, every morning, 7 days to start. Your cardiovascular system, your immune system, and your inflammatory markers will be changed by the end of the week in ways that your next blood test may reflect in numbers your doctor notices. I am Dr. Dylan. I will see you in the next video. One last safety note that I consider essential before anyone begins this practice. Raw garlic has real and significant blood-thinning properties. Allicin inhibits platelet aggregation through mechanisms similar to aspirin. If you are already taking blood-thinning medications, including warfarin, clopidogrel, aspirin therapy, or newer anticoagulants like rivaroxaban or apixaban, please discuss adding daily raw garlic with your doctor before beginning. The combination of garlic's antiplatelet effects with prescription anticoagulants could potentially increase bleeding risk to a clinically meaningful degree. Similarly, if you are scheduled for any surgery within the next 2 weeks, stop raw garlic consumption at least 7 to 10 days before the procedure, as its antiplatelet effects could affect surgical bleeding. For everyone else, healthy adults over 60 without these specific contraindications, 1 clove of raw crushed garlic per day is a safe, evidence-based, and remarkably powerful daily health practice. The research supporting its cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and metabolic benefits spans decades of peer-reviewed literature. Gloria knew this intuitively or through some wisdom she trusted. The numbers on her chart confirmed it. I am Dr. Dylan. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next video.